Hello, hello. Just some sporadic thoughts, some thoughts that came to me. Just like this no days off shit, man. Like, and again, each personality is different, but I don't agree with this no days off, man. Grind till you're dead. You can sleep when you're dead. To me, that is bullshit. It's like, again, different personalities, different body types, different sleeps, all that shit. But it's like, to me, people that do that, too much output, and it will catch up to you, whether you're 40, you're 50, 60. Uh, It does. I know somebody who is a psychologist, an amazing psychologist, helped me, helped other people, had a family, dead in his 40s because he did not take enough time for himself, and his heart gave out. Um, some may be listening to this and thinking, seeing like me talking as like a pessimist, but I'm saying this, and I'm saying this for myself. It's like to find that balance, right? To find that like balance of work and play, and it is far easier said than done. And I'm making this video. I don't know if I'm going to share this. I'm just like ideas, thoughts, venting, thinking myself, reflecting myself, right? And it's like to me, it's to find that balance. And lately I've been going too hard. I'm like near the end of the semester, burning out a little bit. So I'm like taking a couple days off this week. I went way too hard for a couple days, didn't take any time on the weekend off. And I'm like, I'm paying for it. And like, I have good grades, GPA. I'm on pace to getting into a master's program. I'm doing all the right things, but it's hard work. So I've always been a bit of an advocate for play as well, right? Relax and whatever works for you. If it's reading a book, playing a video game, hanging out with friends, going for a walk, making food, doing art, yoga, Lego, it doesn't matter. Haven't done Lego in a long time, just so you know. But taking that time for ourselves, right? And like growing up, I was lazy. I was inherently lazy. I had no work ethic. I had all the talent and ability in the world, as a lot do. But to me, in the words of my high school football coach, and I'll always remember this because personally I agree with that 100%. Potential means shit. In this world, we all have potential, and some have more potential than other. But what do you do with it? There are athletes, I can think of some in mind that were undrafted free agents, shouldn't have played in their sports. I can think of multiple leagues where that happened, but yet had ridiculous work ethics. And their work ethics were so much better. Like there are college players, for an example, in the NFL, who have all the talent in the world. They don't have to practice, go over their homework, read their notes, study, do route running, anything like that because they're natural athletes. And in college, you can get ahead like that. It's easy. But then in the pros, all of the best athletes make it. They all make it. So then to separate yourself, you have to put that work and put the time in, study, 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 talk with other professionals, absorb information like a sponge, see where your weaknesses are, not just your strengths. Our strengths for a reason. It's to work on those weaknesses, which to me is the hardest part. Looking on looking at like in the gym, the things that I'm great at, shoulder press, bench press, my back or whatever, that's easy. But I've always had weak legs, and so the last year spending every third day instead of every sixth day, every fifth day on gym, on my legs, right? And I know it sounds funny, it may seem small, but it's like to me, you take that habit, and then it transfers over to different forms in your life. So maybe the gym for me in that, working on my negatives, things that I'm not as strong on, and then that transfers over to in my school. I'm good at A, B, and C classes, but D I'm weak at. So instead of spending more time on A, B, and C, spending even more time on D, and that's been working for me. And it's hard, but it's worth it. So it's like going back to the college players. So I think of Doug Baldwin, a former Seahawk NFL player, undrafted free agent out of Stanford, worked his ass off, had an amazing career, and he shouldn't have even been in the NFL, and he was the Seahawks' number one receiver for over 7 years. And then I think of players like Golden Tate or lots of players, lots of sports. The list is endless of players that were supposed to be or first-round draft picks who have all this athletic potential, but then got complacent. Right, got their money right up front, then weren't intrinsically or even externally motivated anymore. And so finding that balance of work and play, and so bringing this back to me, again, I always played too much. And I listened to Jordan Peterson a couple of weeks ago, and that's like really motivating me. Like my first 2 years of school have been a grind, and I'm doing good, doing better than I thought I ever could, far succeeded that. But this is only the beginning for me. It's like a little bit at a time, believe in myself, fake it till you make it, and make this version up of myself that I still feel, a large part of me still feels it's impossible, yet it's slowly happening. And then in those moments where I'm slowly changing, being cognizant of that and giving myself credit. And I was talking the other day with a friend about, I've always heard that my whole life, and it's like sounds cheesy, of enjoy the little things and like be grateful in the moment and all that stuff. And lately I am, I have all these things going on in my life, and we all do, right? It's rough sometimes, it's tough, it's hard work. But when I'm in the shit, and then you have those moments of gratitude, those moments of self-awareness where you look and see, wow, I used to not be as efficient at this or this or this. I used to struggle at this, and see the work that you've done. And even if it's just for 1 second and then you slip back or you go back into the darkness a little bit, but being cognizant and aware of that and being grateful for that change, right? And being aware of it. And then slowly you get that positive momentum and build and build and build. And I'm not there yet, but I'm getting there. And so again, bringing it back to me learning how to work harder, and Jordan Peterson, and he talks about that because he was an intellect, and I consider myself an intellect, and I surround myself with people who know me as that and believe in me as that, because I am, and I deserve that, to have that self-worth and that sense of people around me believing in me, that bring me up, that positivity that fills me up. And Jordan Peterson talked about screwing around, doing his undergrad, everything, then getting into his master's and testing his workability, truly testing himself and seeing the amount of output he could do, and mentally, psychologically, willfully test himself. And I've slowly been building up to that. And I heard that a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, I've just been letting that sit kind of in my thoughts, and I bring it up daily and think about it and sit with it. And I'm like, I'm ready. I'm there. Like, and I'm working my ass off the last 2 years, but I'm like, I'm ready to go Super Saiyan, ready to evolve into that next form and test myself. So next year, on top of full order courses, I'm doing community-based. I've just applied for some community-based volunteering, some other stuff within the school. One, for me. Two, to help me get into a master's. And I'm nervous, but I'm excited, and I believe in myself. And the part of me, and that's the scariest thing, is that I actually am starting to believe in myself that I can do it. There's a psychologist says we are more afraid of fear than love. And some may hear that and think that's crazy. But to me, I think there's something in that. Right? I'm more afraid of my own success than I am of not being successful. That's what's crazy. And so I'm like, I'm ready for that work mode, that grind mode, to get there. And then, so bringing all that back, keeping all that in frame, it's still to find that balance, that relative, what works for you. Because I know it's going to be a grind the next couple of years, the next while. I know it's, and listen to my body. I've had to take days off the gym, days where I can't go for a walk, days I have to do more studying. And then I'm like, okay, the last couple of days I'm way ahead with all my school, so took a couple lighter days of school, took a couple days off the gym, back in the gym today. Okay, just do 3 hours of studying today. You don't need to do 10. You don't need to do 12. Find that balance. And that's tough for me. But I hear that all the way, all these speakers, all these motivators, all these psychologists, all these, whoever it is, these people that I look up to. Balance, balance, balance. And I've heard that my whole life. Moderation. But real moderation. What is moderation to you? What is moderation to him? What is moderation to me? Moderation may be 8 double cheeseburgers to one person, and to another person, 1 double cheeseburger. And yes, I would love a cheeseburger right now, but it's like, truly, be aware of that, because I've said moderation and then I've played 4 hours of Madden video games before, right? That's not moderation. That's extreme. I think that's about it. I always try and do these in a one-off if I can, which, like, I've done pretty good. I don't think I've paused too long. There was one more thing I wanted to say. I don't think I can think of it right now, but yeah, again, that no days off shit. Again, I can think of multiple celebrities, athletes, people that have said that and have died early and done all that because they don't take time to rest, don't take time to relax, don't take time for themselves. And to me, and again, this is what I love, and I say this to myself multiple times a day, and I'm truly starting to get it, is I'm not saying I'm right. Find for yourself what works. And even if you disagree with everything I say, who cares? It's what works for you. And I'm sharing this for me. And again, I hope it helps somebody. And if it doesn't, it helped me. And the last thing I wanted to say that I just remembered. my good friend has told me this for years. It's been about 6 years. Little bit, little bit, little bit, little bit. That snowball effect, but positive snowball effect, rolling upwards instead of downhill. And a cumulative of all these good, positive things I'm working on within myself. And while I'm in them, while you're in them, it doesn't always feel good. It doesn't always feel like I'm going anywhere. When we're in that darkness, that's what I call it. It's hard to see that light sometimes, because having a lifetime of instilled negative habits within myself, to change that, to alter that, it's tough to change behaviors. And in the physical form, I want to change the behavior, but it's in the mind that is the big thing, because the mind is behind the behavior. The mind, the thought transfers into body. And so little bit, lit at a time. And I heard Jordan Peterson say yesterday, and to me in this world, it's about hearing the same message in 20, 30 different ways from different people, from the same people, over and over and over and over and over again until I get it. Because it's us who's block it. It's me who blocks it. And then when, even if it's for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, and then eventually that builds. Stop blocking it for 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year. Working on one little thing, right? Let's say I notice a part of my personality is passive aggressive towards a certain person, that triggers it. Or I do this certain thing and it makes me angry if I see something like that. Anything. Think about within yourself. And if you work on that little thing, even 1% every day, 0.5%, 0.1%, it doesn't matter. A little bit, little bit, little bit, little bit. And I heard that shit my whole life and I thought it was cheesy. And now I am seeing the rewards of it, 1%. And in the words of Jordan Peterson, and indirectly in all these great people I've listened to and talked to and mentors I've had in my life, that 1% every day, you do that for 3 years, in 3 years, in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, massive change, massive positivity, whatever you are working on. If you do that consistently, and even if you have little slips, the growth is incredible. It doesn't matter what you apply it to, whether it's the gym, whether it's your diet, whether it's depression, whether it's being more positive, whether it's watching your thoughts, whether it's being nicer to yourself, nicer to those around you. It doesn't matter. And to me, something make 10 years to improve that behavior, but what else do I have to do? It's worth it. So that's all I got to say. I'm out.